Okay, so this latest report from Adam Schefter on the possibility of a TJ Watt trade has Philly media ready to use one of the guys we drafted in the first round recently to get it done. Meanwhile, Bryce Huff had an interview with a Niners content creator and said this is when he knew he needed to get out of Philly. You'll be surprised how early it was. So much to break down, including a possible uniform combo change. And remember when Nick Sirianni said this?
The results aren't there right now, but what's going on here is that there's growth under the soil. I put a picture of a flower up, right, and that it's coming through the ground, and the roots are growing out, and the roots are continuing to grow out.
Keep that roots going, baby. Roots on three. 1, 2, 3. Roots.
The Eagles have been on a tear since. Let's get into the video. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and it's the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with our Philadelphia Eagles, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So the Eagles finally set a date. July 18th is when the Super Bowl 59 ring ceremony will actually happen, 4 days before the start of training camp. Most NFL Super Bowl ring ceremonies happen early June, mid-June, not July 18th, 4 days before training camp. So we got to get our rings and focus on the start of a new season. If any team can handle it, it's the Philadelphia Eagles, whose message all offseason, whether it's the players, the coaching staff, or Nick Sirianni himself, has been last year is last year. What are you going to do in 2025? However, it still feels like football has been missing from my life for far too long. I can't wait to get back. So let's hear this clip of Landon Dickerson's epic pregame speeches.
Playoff football, baby. Yeah. Guys dream about this. Yeah. Damn, we some dream crushers around here. Come on. You hear me? We come back out. I'm going to challenge you to one thing. The scoreboard for 60 minutes. Become a nightmare. Let's go. The Packers on 3. 1, 2, 3. The Packers. Some motherfucking home invasion. Ain't nobody safe from this. We got one opportunity to beat them faces for 60 minutes. We don't choose the schedule. We don't choose the time, the place. We don't choose the opponent. But you know what I choose? I choose violence. From the first snap to the last whistle. Choke him out and make him remember your name. Let's go. The Steelers on 3. 1, 2, 3. The Steelers.
I don't know about you, but listening to Landon Dickerson's pregame speech got me feeling like I want to run through a wall for the Eagles, and I ain't even on a team. Flipping things over to some Eagles apparel rumors. AAT Birds was the first one to report it. Rumors. Eagles planning on different uniform combos this season. Could we see the midnight green on top of midnight green combo jersey/pants? And honestly, how do you feel about that combo compared to others? Actually, let me know in the comment section your favorite Eagles combo outfit. AJ Brown saw these uniforms on IG and commented on it saying bring those back. Looks like AJ Brown likes the midnight green on top of midnight green. Staying with the rumorville, the TJ Watt conversation is brought back up as it pertains to the Eagles, and it all started with this Adam Schefter tweet. He said, sources, in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt, who skipped team's most recent minicamp. Pittsburgh hasn't shown any willingness to deal Watt so far, but he's unhappy with his contractual situation, and sources believe outside teams' interest is likely to increase given the recent Steelers trade with the Dolphins. Joe Giglio on WIP spoke with a Steelers radio guy and asked him about the realness of a possible TJ Watt trade. What would the Steelers want? And he said something along the line of a player and a late round pick. Now, the player he named was none other than Nolan Smith, who, if you've been watching this channel, you know Philly Mike's been rocking with Nolan Smith even before the draft. And when half of Eagle Nation tried to bail on him after his rookie season and the preseason leading up to 2024, Philly Mike stood strong, said he would have over 6 sacks in the 2024 season, no matter what his role was, and he had 6.5. Then he went to the playoffs and set a franchise record for the most sacks in Eagles history during a playoff run with 4.5. So before I give you my take on a possible TJ Watt trade to Philly, let me hear yours in the comment section. Also, they spoke about it on the later show on WIP. Let's hear what they had to say.
Story today that the Steelers are talking about trading TJ Watt. TJ Watt wants another contract. He's got 1 year, $21 million, I think, left.
Non-guaranteed.
Non-guaranteed. Andrew Filipponi of our station in Pittsburgh, said that he thought that Nolan Smith and a late-round pick would get you TJ Watt. Look, TJ Watt is awesome. Ike went through the stats the other day.
It's crazy.
You look at TJ Watt stats and Myles Garrett stats, they're like the same.
I think I would do it. I would do it.
And
I
you
would
pay
take,
him.
and I would pay him.
Wow.
I would do it.
Wow.
Now, I don't think they will. I would guess that of all the teams we would view as legit Super Bowl contenders, they probably have the least amount of snaps from their edges last year of any team. So while I am high on Nolan Smith, and it would definitely sting to give up on a talent like that, and I do think he's good for their locker room. I mean, TJ Watt is way better than Nolan Smith. It's not even close. I mean, and it makes everybody better. It makes Jalen Carter better. It makes Jalen Hunt better.
Oh my God!
And him and Jalen Carter.
Oh my God!
Man.
And he's what, 30?
Yeah.
So maybe
got some good years left.
If you give him $75 million guaranteed, and he's here for 3 years.
3 years. Yep. We literally went bonkers about Myles Garrett.
Yes.
At the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
TJ's the better player. Just from a stats.
Yeah.
He's put up better numbers. They came in the same year.
Yep.
They got the same awards, same accolades, Defensive Player of the Year, all that stuff. I'm just saying. One guy has 102, other guy has 108. Here's the one thing that I'm looking at. Forced fumbles. TJ Watt, 33 forced fumbles to Myles Garrett's 20.
Over how many years?
Both 8 years.
Wow.
I understand that the Eagles would be better in 2025 with TJ Watt over Nolan Smith. Yes, but I don't want to mortgage the future. Running it back is very important. But the way I believe in Nolan Smith, I'm expecting double-digit sacks. Now, of course, TJ Watt could get 15 plus, especially on the side of Jalen Carter. But what would the money really look like? We know we got to pay a lot of guys coming up. I don't think we can really make it happen. He's talking about 75 guaranteed. I don't know. But Nolan Smith has been one of my favorites. I believe we haven't seen what his potential is yet. I think double-digit sacks this year, and 2 to 3, 4 years from now, we could talk about Nolan Smith as one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. I understand the lack of experience starting fully both Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith have, but Jalen Carter in the middle, the interior, the linebackers, the secondary, that's all going to help out the pass rush. And I do like the rotation. And again, I'm a big believer in Nolan Smith being a Pro Bowl, all-pro player in the near future. So I wouldn't trade Nolan Smith. I would trade other things if the money even made sense, which I don't believe it does. But I'm not giving up on Nolan Smith. Last thing I'll actually say on the situation, Eagle Eric tweeted yesterday, Nolan Smith had a higher rate of high-quality sacks per pass rush than TJ Watt did in 2024 per at Brandon Thorne NFL. Just saying. Switching gears to a former Eagle pass rusher that recently was traded. I'm talking about Bryce Huff. He's a member of the San Francisco 49ers, and I think that trade was a win-win for everybody. He's back with the defensive mind that got him 10-plus sacks, and the Eagles don't got to worry about that contract that was pretty hefty. He wasn't going to really make the team. He didn't fit in Philly, mindset and skill set, and he spoke about it. Listen.
What was like your inside perspective? Like, were you surprised when that it came across? I know San Francisco. Like, what's kind of like the behind the scenes feel that goes into a trade?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I wanted to trade like fairly early on, and just because of how things went in Philly, like I knew pretty early on that it wasn't a fit. But like being a signing of that magnitude, like being undrafted and going and getting that contract and being in Philly, like the expectations are at an all-time high. So I knew a trade wasn't going to happen during the season. But I had just kind of like talked to my agent about it. I was like, yeah, when it's all said and done, like I might need to step, just to be able to put myself in the best position to ball out and have a fruitful career. And there's a plethora of things that went down. I don't want to get into specifics, but
Of course.
I like being in the league for five years last year. I'm going into my sixth right now, but being in the league for 5 years, I kind of knew what it felt like for me to be what's the word? To be in a good situation, and that's just what I was like, yeah, I gotta look out for myself and do what I think is best. So I mean I kind of knew where it was headed like fairly early on into the season, but probably even training camp, if I'm being honest with you. But so when everything kind of popped off, it was just like, yeah, all right, let's get to work.
Again, you heard him. He said he knew early it wasn't a fit in Philly. He didn't go on about certain things why, but it's just he can't rush the way Fangio wants him to. He couldn't live up to the expectations the Eagles needed him to live up to, that contract. He simply said he kind of knew during training camp, which is crazy to me. Now, to his defense, he did say, shout out to Philly, all the people that won the Super Bowl, the young guys, the pass rushers that put in all that work. He gave props to Philly's team in general, but he said from the get-go, it wasn't a fit. Howie Roseman hits grand slams out the park all the time as it pertains to the draft and free agency, but even the best GMs in any sport is going to miss. But he hits more than he misses, and he knows how to correct his mistakes. The way the Niners took on the bulk of that contract made it so that the contract really ain't going to hurt us as we continue to build this thing to repeat for Super Bowls and pay multiple young guys as their time comes. I'll always want my GM to be aggressive and miss than just sit on his hands and not do nothing like some other teams. I'm not going to say any names. It is what it is. Moving on to a topic I don't think a lot of people talk enough about, and that is the growth of Nick Sirianni. Do y'all remember this speech?
The results aren't there right now, but what's going on here is that there's growth under the soil. I put a picture of a flower up, right, and that it's coming through the ground, and the roots are growing out, and the roots are continuing to grow out.
Keep that roots going, baby! Roots go three! 1, 2, 3, roots!
We love the flower girl.
And everybody wants to see results. Shoot, nobody wants to see results more than us, right? We want to see results too, but it's really important that the foundation is being built and that the roots are growing out. And the only way the roots grow out every single day and they grow stronger and they grow better is if that we all water, we all fertilize, we all do our part. Each individual coach, each individual player, everybody in the building, that we do our part to water to make sure that when it does pop out, it really pops out.
Shout out to all my OGs who know about the roots and the flowers. I can't wait for the season to start to get back to the live play-by-plays. At the time, I didn't like the way it sounded, but the roots, the flowers, everything you want to talk about really did grow after the 2021 season. When you look at the Eagles' record under Nick Sirianni since then, it's one of the best ever in the NFL in a 3.5-year span. The extension he got this offseason was well-deserved. That's why I love the duo of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, two guys who accomplish so much but don't get the respect they deserve. That's why I love giving flowers to both these guys because nobody outside the Eagle fan base does, and that is so wrong. They're always looking to find something to bring up to discredit these guys. Like recently we heard if Jalen Hurts and the Eagles were in the AFC, would they have gotten to the Super Bowl twice and or won one in the last couple years? And honestly, the answer is who knows? However, Jalen Hurts versus the AFC is in his favor. He's 14-1 with 40 touchdowns and 106.7 passer rating. Does that mean we would have won all the games? I don't know. But let's stop acting like the Eagles can only win in the NFC when our record in the AFC is actually better. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike, just the Philly Talk podcast. We did get over 20K views and 1,100 likes in the last video, so we are going to give away the Devontae Smith, the Dagger shirt. If you haven't entered into it, go back to the last video, do what needs to be done. By Thursday, I'm going to stop tallying, and on Friday, we will announce the winner. Once again, do your boy a favor by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the videos, share the content on your social medias. I love y'all to death. Muscle up if you're Philly strong. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one. We out.